Number 10. Engulfed by nature. There's a really creepy abandoned ghost town in China called Houseian, and it looks exactly like what the rest of the world would look like around 10 years after the apocalypse. This lovely ghost town is sitting innocently on the top of the cliffs overlooking the sea and the horizon, and all of its buildings have been overrun with greenery. This was once a fishing village busting with life before the residents packed up and just moved away to the city when all their commerce dried up. There used to be about 3,000 people here, but now there are only 5. The houses have been overtaken by vines, mosquitoes, and plenty of birds have settled down here and made their nests. A moss blanket covers almost every inch of the buildings. It's been totally decimated by nature, though that's definitely not a bad thing. Today, the city is a tourist attraction, with the only way to get there by taking a boat, then a taxi out to the village, which drops you off at a cemetery, and then you have to walk through the overgrown jungle to explore this empty place. It feels as if this place always belonged to nature from the very beginning. Number 9. Ordos Ghost City. Ordos Kangbashi is another bizarre ghost town in China. This one is a little different though. It hasn't been reclaimed by nature. Instead, it kind of looks like what would happen in an apocalypse if everyone just ceased to exist. Like Avengers Endgame, with everyone ending. It's a brand new city with extravagant plazas, stadiums, brand new housing units, and so much more. And yet, nobody lives there. The city has been labeled a failure utopia because it was built, but then nobody moved in. The city may have been a plot by local officials to boost the GDP artificially. This place is massive, with thousands of homes unlived in and paved streets with no cars on them. There are shopping malls filled with stores and no shoppers. Parks with empty swings swinging with the breeze and nobody walking their dog. And it's altogether a little depressing. Maybe some people will move in here eventually, but for now, it's an empty metropolis. Number 8. Miami Marine Stadium. The abandoned Miami Marine Stadium was built on Virginia Key as the first stadium in the country designed specifically for powerboat racing. It was completed at a cost of around $2 million and opened in 1963 and saw significant use up until the 70s. Then when the 80s started, the stadium saw a steep decline in sporting events. There were also newer venues in the area, stealing a lot of their business. The last major race was in 1987, and by the 1990s, the place had been shut down. Then in 1992, Hurricane Andrew hit Florida and caused so much damage that the stadium was condemned. The repairs were too much, and so this place was just left in apocalyptic ruin, looking like what the rest of Florida would look like one day if it ever gets hit by a hurricane large enough to destroy the entire city. The stadium is covered in graffiti. It's dangerous to go inside of, and nature is slowly creeping in along the edges. There have been plans to restore the stadium and use it again, but so far, it's still a sad old ruin on the waterfront. If you do decide to go check it out, you can sit in one of the stadium seats and enjoy a great view of Miami. Number 7. Houseian Hall. The abandoned Bennett School for Girls looks like something straight out of an apocalyptic horror film. It's one of the creepiest places anywhere in the state of New York, with its facade slowly sagging to one side, as if the building had a stroke. It looks like a gothic murder mansion and a haunted castle combined, despite the fact that it started life as a luxury hotel for the elite members of society. After it fell out of use, it became a woman's school, though that too fell on hard times. Once kids started being taught in the same classroom, boy or girl, there wasn't much need for girls' schools. So, the school was shut down and abandoned. It has remained an ugly and dilapidated structure in Millbrook ever since. The only people who go here now are urban explorers and photographers who want to check out the creepy rooms. The main building of the school is called Houseian Hall, and it honestly looks like somewhere the cannibals would live or mutants hide out after the apocalypse. It was designed in 1890 to be the most luxurious retreat in New York, but all that luxury has since been claimed by Mother Nature, offering a more natural type of luxury and a quiet beauty if you're into that. There are vines crawling up the walls, the turrets are falling apart, and it looks like a bomb went off inside, shattering much of the wood floor and bringing parts of the ceiling down. Would you like to check out a place like this? Have you been before? Let us know in the comments section down below, and if you're liking this video, be sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe button if you haven't already. Number 6. Ordos Suglan. Suglan is a literal apocalyptic city. It was destroyed by German SS troops in 1944 during the brutal fighting of World War II. During the battle, or rather, during the massacre, 642 civilians were mercilessly killed. The entire village was actually blown apart by the Nazis. Then, when the war was finally over, the village was preserved as a grim reminder of the atrocities of war. Nobody lives here now, but the town is still a startling reminder of what war can do. As for the massacre that happened here, it was shocking even by Nazi standards. Almost all the victims were women and children, most of which were herded into a local church, then locked inside, while the Nazis threw hand grenades into it, and then set it on fire. At the same time, men with machine guns locked the male villagers in a barn and shot their legs, leaving them crippled, while they doused them in gas and set them on fire. There's no denying this place is haunted. With such a dark and gruesome history, explorers are bound to hear the cries of children and feel the presence of tortured souls. Number 5. Mystery underground tunnels. Apparently, there are mysterious tunnels that travel all the way from Scotland to Turkey, like a secret apocalyptic subway system. It's not clear who built these tunnels or what purpose they served, but some say they are 12,000 years old. This is shocking because the oldest monumental structure in the world is at Göbekli Tepe in Turkey, only 11,000 years old. These tunnels haven't been explored or even talked about by mainstream scientists. Dr. Heinrich Kusch explains in his book written on this very subject that the tunnels have been found beneath all kinds of Neolithic settlements throughout Europe, but nobody knows who did it or why, with some experts guessing that the underground network of tunnels could have been ancient highways used by prehistoric people to avoid the above-ground predators. Even more shocking is a theory that says the tunnels were dug by a race of people that came before humans, but were ultimately lost by some kind of cataclysmic event that destroyed whatever buildings they had created above ground. These ancient tunnels may be all that is left of them. There have been similar ancient tunnels discovered on other continents too, even throughout the Americas. The big question is, why were these passages constructed in the first place, and how were they constructed? While there are a number of legends about them, researchers have yet to discover any solid answers. Number 4. Red Hook Grain Terminal. The Red Hook Grain Terminal has been abandoned for at least 50 years. The concrete is being eaten by black mold. The silos are depressing and look like they might fall down at any minute. And the whole place looks like a spooky scene straight from the end of days. The terminal was built at the turn of the century, in the early 1900s, in the industrial waterfront of Brooklyn. It had 54 silos when it was built, and was specially designed to hoist huge shipments of grain from ships and then drop them in for processing. Unfortunately for everyone involved in the project, the terminal became obsolete almost immediately after it was built. The grain train collapsed. Nobody wanted to unload in New York anyway, because the price had gone through the roof, and it was way cheaper to do it in places like Baltimore or Philadelphia. So, the terminal was shut down. The jobs dried up, and everybody left. The area is now riddled with vacant warehouses and docks that are slowly crumbling into the canal, looking like some depressing, failed Soviet city. Number 3. Pripyat Town. Speaking of failed Soviet cities, Pripyat Town is definitely the most apocalyptic place anywhere on Earth. It's been 35 years since the nuclear meltdown at Chernobyl caused by reactor number 4, which blew contaminated particles throughout Ukraine, Belarus, Russia, and as far as Sweden. The nearby town of Pripyat was forced to evacuate the same day as the explosion in 1986, and people haven't returned to live here since. It's not safe. This has created the ideal apocalyptic playground, since this is the only city in the world evacuated in just a handful of hours due to a nuclear disaster. The apartments here are empty. Almost every piece of glass in the town has been smashed. The trees are literally growing through the walls and bursting through the ceilings. And the whole place reeks of sadness and human error. But what's really cool about Pripyat Town is that it shows just how quickly nature will rebound after the apocalypse. Even though this place is heavily radiated, wildlife is thriving today. Animals like bears, wolves, wild horses, and even bison have moved into the ruined city since there are no humans to hunt them and kill them. Even if all of our nuclear reactors blow up tomorrow, at least we know that nature will make a comeback. Number 2. Towerga. Towerga is a ruined town in Libya that looks like the end of the world. There were once 30,000 people living here before they were abruptly driven out of their homes, never to return. The story behind how the town became an empty ruin is pretty horrifying. It started back in 2011, when the dictator, Muammar Gaddafi, used it as his base for laying siege to the city of Misrata. Well, the siege failed. Misrata defeated Gaddafi, and in revenge, they marched on the city of Towerga and drove out every single person living there. It was a harsh act of revenge, and considered at the time to be a crime against humanity. What makes things even worse is that the people who lived in this town are considered to be the descendants of slaves, so it's not like they had an easy time before being kicked out of their houses. Today, Towerga is still a ghoulish ghost town. The houses are silent. Nobody lives here except for stray cats and dogs, and the buildings have all been burned and ransacked. The place was also heavily bombed. You can see the scars from the shells in the streets. The people who were kicked out of this place have now spread across Libya. And number 1, Centralia. Centralia, a small town in Pennsylvania, was once filled with shops, happy residents, and a prosperous mining business. Mind you, this was about a century ago. The local mines produced coal, which paid for the lifestyle of the 1,200 people who lived there. It was a tight-knit community before a mine fire started 50 years ago, and everyone was forced to evacuate. To this day, the fire has yet to stop. The community was devastated, and the residents were evicted as the town slowly began to sink into a blazing fire, happening right underneath the street. The fire started in 1962 because, according to History.com, an old mine had been turned into a garbage dump, and the city wanted to clean up the garbage by lighting it all on fire. This sparked a much bigger fire beneath the town itself, spreading through the mine tunnels. Carbon monoxide levels became unsafe. There was no possible way for anyone to put out the fire, and it still burns to this very day. In fact, the ground beneath the city reaches temperatures of over 900 degrees Fahrenheit. There is still smoke pouring out of the sinkholes, and the old basements where people used to live are currently filled with poisonous gas. Number 10. Sandy Island. Sandy Island is more of a ghost island. This bizarre place was supposedly discovered in 1876, only to vanish one day like the mythical Atlantis. When a research ship was cruising through the Coral Sea near Australia, headed straight from where Sandy Island was supposed to be, the captain was shocked to discover the island was gone. All scientific databases show that the island was 15 miles long and 3 miles wide. That's about the size of Manhattan, yet the island simply wasn't there. Obviously, scientists were eager to get to the bottom of the mystery of the island that mysteriously vanished. Maria Satan with the University of Sydney was the first to discover that something wasn't quite right. She did a bit of digging and discovered that the island definitely appeared on a 1908 edition of an Admiralty map, claiming to have been discovered in 1876 by a whaling ship named Velocity. But the island was actually found and then deleted repeatedly throughout the years. It was marked in 1982 by the U.S. Defense Mapping Agency, but it had been deleted 8 years before in 1974 by the French. Could this be a secret island hidden by the powers at large? Or could it just be a weird phenomenon in which the island appears and then disappears randomly? Right now, nobody knows the truth about this bizarre place, and scientists are at a total loss. What do you think is going on with Sandy Island? Number 9. Underground Antarctic Base. Antarctica is already one of the most mysterious places in the world, but now UFO hunters are claiming there is actually a secret base hidden on the icy continent. Using Google Earth, internet sleuths have discovered 2 secret entrances leading down into what can only be described as a mysterious underground alien bunker. Of course, we don't have any evidence to say beyond a doubt that it's actually aliens. But who else could have constructed such a complicated facility in such a desolate place? It could be the military, but if the US were moving tons of supplies to the bottom of the world, somebody probably would have noticed, right? Chances are that the mysterious Antarctic base has been there for thousands of years, frozen and out of sight. But now, as the ice slowly begins to melt, its entrances have been revealed. Each entrance looks big enough for a B-52 bomber to fly through, suggesting whatever was going in and out of the base when it was still operable was enormous. Number 8. St. Michael's Mount. St. Michael's Mount is one of the most mysterious secret islands anywhere in England. It's located just 5 miles from Penzance in Cornwall and has been an important place since around 400 BC, back when the Romans were around. It was a key port for exporting tin and copper, but then in 495 AD, something magical happened. A vision of the Archangel Michael led to a church being constructed on the rocky island mound. So far as the legend goes, St. Michael revealed himself to a local fisherman high up on a rocky ledge. It became one of the holiest places in the world, a place that people today haven't even heard about. For 1500 years, this was the place of pilgrims who journeyed from all across Europe to see all kinds of miracles performed. It wasn't until modern time that the island was transformed into a military fortress, then a private castle. Today, much of the mysticism and mystery behind the island's origins has been lost, though pilgrims do still venture to see the site from time to time. Number 7. The Burlington Bunker. The Burlington Bunker is secreted underneath a historic English market. It is itself an underground city that comes complete with laundry rooms, kitchens, and even a subterranean lake. For a long time, this was one of the most secret locations in England. It's underneath the town of Corsham, about 100 feet beneath to be exact. It was crafted as a Cold War city, carved out of the earth using the natural limestone caves already there. In total, it's about 35 acres. This massive bunker was built in the 1950s and is impervious to deadly bombs, radiation, and even poison gas. It was designed to hold 4,000 government personnel in the event of a catastrophic attack, something like a nuclear strike. There are 60 miles of road down here in the bunker, and it was meant to be fully self-sufficient so that the 4,000 people dwelling here could do so in isolation for at least 3 months. After that, they would have to resort to cannibalism. Amazingly, the Burlington Bunker was kept secret until 2004, when it was decommissioned. Not a single civilian person knew it existed. Do you think there's secret bunkers like this around today? Who do you think these bunkers are for specifically? The most intelligent minds? Whoever can afford it? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. And if you're liking this video, be sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe button if you haven't already. Number 6. The Marshall Islands. The Marshall Islands aren't quite as mysterious as they are terrifying. Believe it or not, some of these islands, like Bikini Atoll in the Pacific Ocean, are significantly more radioactive than either Chernobyl or Fukushima, both of which were literal nuclear power plants that had incredibly severe meltdowns. It's because the United States tested radioactive weapons on the islands over 60 years ago. Researchers recently tested the soil here and found that levels of plutonium-239 and plutonium-240 are about 1,000 times higher than at Fukushima and 10 times higher than the Chernobyl exclusion zone. These islands might not be secret anymore, though they're certainly not talked about openly, but they are strictly off limits. Just spending a little bit of time on one of these islands could turn you into a radioactive monster with extra limbs and superpowers. When did the US decide to test weapons here? It was actually after World War II ended. They wanted to test more of their nuclear arsenal and decided to drop them on the atolls starting in 1946, and then kept it going for 12 years. They tested a total of 67 nuclear weapons, with the first hydrogen bomb being dropped on Eniwetok in 1951. Nobody has any idea how long these islands will be uninhabitable for, or what kind of weird creatures might be birthed from all that radiation. Do you think it's possible the radiation has an effect on the marine life around the island? Number 5. Knights Templar Treasure Tower. These are a series of secret tunnels that were dug out by the Knights Templar themselves. The secret tunnels were designed by the Knights Templar to move gold without being seen to their precious treasure tower. Archaeologists only recently discovered these mysterious tunnels underneath the city of Acre in Israel, revealed to the public by archaeologist Dr. Albert Lin. He says the Knights used the tunnels about 800 years ago. The archaeologists also discovered the remains of a luxurious fortress headquarters. The building of the tunnels and the tower go back to the Crusades and the knights who battled for gold and glory. During the Third Crusade, they had their command center in what is today the modern city of Acre. Archaeologists used lasers and special detecting technology to scan the earth, and this is how they uncovered the tunnels, as well as a guardhouse hidden beneath the city, likely once used to protect the secret entrance. The tower itself is built beneath dozens of feet of dirt and rock and is basically impossible to excavate at this point, though at least the archaeologists know where it is. In its glory days, the tower would have been a large fortress filled to the brim with treasure scavenged from the knights' conquests. It's not clear where all of this treasure has gone since the days of the Knights Templar, or if any of it is left in the ruins under the city where archaeologists can't get to, or if it's already been scattered to the winds. Number 4. The H.H. Holmes Murder Hotel. The infamous location of what locals in Chicago called the Murder Castle is today an empty lot between a post office and some train tracks on the southern side of West 63rd Street. There is no monument, and there is nothing that mentions the horrors that went on here in the 1800s. But this is where the infamous castle stood until the murderer, H.H. Holmes, was hanged in 1896, and his horrible house torn down in 1938. The house itself is the mysterious secret place we're talking about. It is the most horrifying building that was ever constructed anywhere in the United States of America, designed by the first American serial killer, H.H. Holmes. It's estimated that he killed about 200 people in his hellish hotel before he got caught and was killed for his heinous crimes. He designed his hotel to be a palace of blood. It was a maze of mysterious hidden passages, death rooms where Holmes mutilated and tortured his victims, and special tunnels that he could use to dispose of the bodies. There were trapdoors, fake walls, and even secret stairways, all of which he used to kidnap his unsuspecting victims after they checked into his hotel. It was a diabolical mansion of disturbing proportions and a grim piece of history not many people know about. When Holmes was hanged on May 7, 1896, eyewitnesses said it took him 15 long minutes to die. Would you dare stay a night in the murder castle? Number 3. The Vatican's secret archives. There is no place on Earth more secret or more mysterious than the Vatican's secret archives. These secret archives have been locked up tight for about 1,200 years. We know that inside the archives are historical documents and things like letters written by Michelangelo, the transcripts of the trial of the Knights Templar, and a birch bark entreaty written by the Ojibwe tribe in Canada back in 1887. But this is only scratching the surface. Nobody really knows what is being kept down there, and some even say the secret archives are controlled by the Illuminati. There are a few wild theories of what is being kept in the Vatican's secret archives. Some say there is proof hidden down there that extraterrestrials exist. Anything from alien skulls to the truth about the Pope working in conjunction with other worldly beings. Some even say the Vatican is hiding the truth behind Jesus and his biological descendants, and that they know his exact lineage going all the way to today. But unfortunately, this stuff is locked up and stashed away, and chances are we will never know for sure what kind of secrets these guys are keeping. What other kinds of secrets do you think the Vatican is hiding? Let us know in the comments below. Number 2. The underground city of Naur. The underground city of Naur is a mysterious subterranean lair located just a few miles east of the village of Naur in France. It's about 72 feet underground and filled with 300 chambers. It began life as a limestone quarry built by the Romans in the 2nd century AD. The quarry fell out of use though, and local people began storing their goods inside the deep tunnels. As confrontations began more and more problematic in the early Middle Ages, more and more people started hiding in what would become an extensive underground city. At its peak, the underground city had a population of about 3,000 people. Eventually, people even began to construct wells, stables, bakeries, and chapels. They planned things extremely well, and the chimneys from the bakers' ovens and any other fires were routed through cottages and other existing structures above ground, so no one would have any clue as to what was going on below. Evidence also suggests that in the 9th century AD, Viking invaders let themselves into the underground settlement and just decided to stay there. The city remained in use until Europe became a little more stable and it was no longer needed. The secret city was then abandoned and not rediscovered until 1887, when a man renovating his house found a mysterious hole in his wall that led down into the city. And number 1, Mystery Spot. The St. Ignace Mystery Spot is exactly what the name describes. It is a mysterious place with a history that goes back to the 1950s. Back then, some surveyors were exploring the area when they realized none of their equipment was working. They did a few tests and realized that there was a circle roughly 300 feet in diameter in which nothing worked. It was a bizarre and mysterious blank spot. Ever since then, people who visit the mystery spot report strange happenings, like gravity not working the way it should, tall people looking short, and a sensation of nausea. Nobody knows why people experience such strange phenomena in such a small spot, and most scientists believe it actually has nothing to do with the spot and has more to do with the human brain. as people try to convince themselves that something weird is going on. Either that, or the St. Ignace mystery spot is actually over top a secret Indian burial ground.
Number 10. Tear-drinking butterflies. One of the weirdest mysteries of the jungle has to do with none other than butterflies. That's right, these peaceful creatures hold their own secrets. Just recently, scientists doing research in the Amazon jungle discovered flocks of colorful butterflies swarming around turtles. At first, the researchers didn't quite understand what they were witnessing. The butterflies were literally enveloping the turtles as if they were trying to eat them. After some closer scrutiny, the researchers realized that the butterflies were actually taking turns drinking the turtles' tears. In particular, butterflies seem to crave the tears from the yellow-spotted river turtles in the western part of the Amazon rainforest. According to Phil Torres with the Tambopata Research Center in Peru, the butterflies probably like to drink turtle tears, not because they're sadistic monsters, but because the liquid teardrops contain sodium. Sodium is an extremely important mineral not found in abundance in the Amazon. Turtles absorb plenty of sodium thanks to their carnivorous diet, eating small critters, but herbivores like butterflies have a hard time finding it. It's a critical mineral that butterflies need to survive. When they can't get enough on their own, they find turtles and drink their tears, slurping the sodium right from the turtle's eyes. But perhaps the weirdest part about this is that the phenomenon has only been witnessed in this one part of the Amazon jungle. Researchers who specialize in turtles have never witnessed the behavior in any other part of the world. Number 9. Tomb of a Mayan Prince. The tomb of a Mayan prince has been found hidden deep in the jungles of Mexico near the border with Guatemala. Excavators recently uncovered the remains of Mayan royalty hidden deep inside an ancient complex in the forgotten city of Uxul. The prince was between the age of 20 and 25 when he perished, with researchers finding him lying on his back with his arms neatly folded over his chest, almost perfectly fossilized. His tomb was hiding about 5 feet, 1.5 meters beneath the floor of a ruined building in the old city. Along with the prince's body, researchers discovered pieces of ceramics and a curiously painted plate covering the prince's skull. One of these pieces of ceramics was even covered in hieroglyphics. Researchers were quick to decode the old Mayan writing, which said, "This is the drinking vessel of the young prince." In other words, he was buried with his own personal cup. But just who exactly was this mysterious prince? To find out, scientists need to look closer at the ancient city of Uxul. This place is located very deep in the jungle, in such a remote area that researchers only have access to it for about 2 months out of the year. The rest of the time, it's too rainy and dangerous for them to do any research. The tomb was likely built in the year 711 AD, less than a century before the ancient city was abruptly abandoned. Researchers haven't been able to identify the prince, but he likely had ties to the Calakmul dynasty, the last rulers of Uxul. Number 8. Ancient cave monster. Researchers have uncovered what they say could be the oldest animal drawing in the world. It was discovered inside a cave in the middle of the jungle in Borneo, which is in Southeast Asia. It's a small island in Indonesia. Within the mysterious cave, researchers discovered hundreds of hand motifs painted in reddish-orange paint, with some of them dating back all the way to 52,000 years ago. But the hand motifs are only part of the story. In the local language, the cave is called Lubang Jariji Saleh, and it's more of a subterranean labyrinth than an ordinary cave system. Sketched on one of the walls, researchers found paintings of strange creatures that they say kind of look like cows, only a little freakier. The largest of the creature paintings is at least 7 feet, 2.1 meters across, and dates back 40,000 years. According to National Geographic, that would make this the earliest figurative cave painting of an animal ever identified by scientists. Scientists haven't been able to identify what the creature may have been. It was likely some kind of prehistoric bovine that has since gone extinct, but they just don't know which one. Nonetheless, so far as we know, this painting was the first time a human being dipped their fingers in paint and decided to draw a representation of a living creature. Number 7. Mysterious boat wreckage. There's a mysterious boat wreck at Blind Bight in Victoria, Australia, and nobody is entirely sure where it came from. The area around Blind Bight is a mangrove jungle, a swampy flatland of mud, ocean currents, and a whole lot of lost treasure. The shipwreck seems completely out of place because it's literally in the middle of a huge patch of mangroves, quite far from where the ocean is. It's not that the ocean is an impossible distance away, but it is far enough that it doesn't make a lot of sense that a boat could have ended up in the middle of the trees. The best guess places the ship as being made sometime in the 1900s. Almost all of it is already decayed, with not much left now except parts of its wooden hull. Whatever the ship had been carrying is long gone, as well as the crew that got the thing abandoned there in the first place. It's kind of a local mystery, and so stuck in the middle of the mangroves that the only way to physically see it is from above. And seeing as this is Australia, if you tried to make it to the shipwreck on foot, you'd probably be eaten by the local crocodiles or dingoes. Either that, or accidentally be washed out to sea to be eaten by the sharks. Is this the kind of adventure you'd like to go on? Let us know in the comments down below. And if you're liking this video, be sure to hit the thumbs up and subscribe buttons if you haven't already. Number 6. Lost Jungle Cities. As explorers chart out more and more of the deep jungle in Central and South America, more and more strange discoveries crop up all over the place. And now, archaeologists have discovered a pair of mysterious lost cities in the jungle of Mexico. These cities were once dominated by the Mayan people. They include pyramids, temples, the remains of monstrous palaces, a ball court where the Maya used to play a primitive version of basketball that ended in human sacrifice, as well as other incredible stone monuments. Oddly enough, one of the ancient cities was found several decades ago, only to be lost when archaeologists could never relocate it. The other city is an entirely new discovery, never before seen by modern human eyes. The leader of the expedition to find these jungle cities is named Ivan Sprajak from the Research Center of the Slovenian Academy of Sciences and Arts. He's explained that his team managed to locate the cities thanks to aerial photographs of the forest area of the Campeche state. They noticed anomalies in the thick vegetation, sent in archaeologists to investigate, and were shocked to see legitimate ancient ruins. The cities date back to between 600 and 1000 AD, which wasn't even that long ago if you think about it. They look ancient, but these incredible places were built around 50 generations of people ago. One of the coolest features found at the entirely new city is a temple pyramid that towers 65 feet, 20 meters above the floor of the jungle. However, it's in rough shape. Trees are literally growing through the brick sides of the pyramid, while the whole city is basically being eaten by the jungle. Number 5. Ancient war wreckage. In the jungles of the Pacific Islands, there's so much war wreckage abandoned and rusting that it would take a lifetime to document it all. During the Pacific War that raged between the Imperial Japanese Army and the United States of America during World War II, thousands of warships, planes, and tanks were destroyed. Most of them were left in the Pacific. Many of them are still stranded in the jungle today, like a U.S. Navy transport vessel that's gotten washed up in the Solomon Islands. Its stern crashed through the trees at the border of the jungle. Then there's the Japanese A6M0 fighter that was recently found crashed in the middle of an unoccupied jungle on Guadalcanal Island. At Tokyo Bay and the Nagala Islands, there's yet another sunken vessel that's become a part of the forest, a Japanese Imperial Navy destroyer that was taken down by U.S. forces. No matter where you go across the massive stretch of ocean dotted with beautiful islands, the jungles of the South Pacific are basically graveyards for war vehicles from World War II. The local islanders swim at their beaches with wrecked Japanese warships, while kids scramble over rusted military tanks left behind in the dense foliage. Number 4. The Amazon Monster. There may or may not be a giant monster lurking in the Amazon jungle. Almost every native tribe in the jungles of South America has a story relating to the creature that they call the mapinguari. This translates to English as the roaring animal or the fetid beast. But what's truly remarkable is the fact that people who claim to have seen the monster in the jungle, even if these people are from different tribes and have never met one another, have described the exact same thing. The accounts are so consistent and so widespread that some scientists are starting to organize expeditions deep into unexplored terrain in an attempt to track down the mysterious mapinguari. As of right now, not a single photograph has been taken of the monster, and no respectable scientist has confirmed its existence. But that doesn't mean it's not real. David Oren, a local researcher, believes the legend of the mapinguari comes from a very real beast that was last seen thousands of years ago by the ancestors of today's tribespeople. He says the mapinguari was probably a giant ground sloth. Giant ground sloth used to live all through the Amazon jungle until recently, and stories of the incredible creature were probably passed down to the newest generations of people. Each time they see something spooky in the jungle, they think it's a mapinguari. The creature is said to be 7 feet, 2.1 meters tall, with a giant mouth in the middle of its belly, which it uses to eat people. Do you think it's real? Why or why not? Number 3. Giant stone head. About 50 years ago, a giant stone head was discovered in the jungles of Guatemala. It's been boggling scientists ever since. The issue with the giant stone head is that all the experts agree it appears to depict a Caucasian person, not an indigenous person from Central America. In fact, whoever the stone head was modeled after has no familiar features with any of the locals. It looks like a white man, which doesn't make any sense because the head was carved hundreds of years before white people ever made it to what is now Guatemala. If we follow logic, the ancient people who lived here, probably part of the Olmec civilization, must have come into contact with Europeans before Christopher Columbus came to the New World. This is a massive mystery that has never been unraveled. One of the biggest issues is that just years after the giant stone head was discovered in the 1950s, it was blown to pieces, completely destroyed by local revolutionaries. When the archaeologists went back to gather more information, they found that revolutionaries had used the thing as target practice. Because the artifact itself is destroyed, there's absolutely no way to properly date it or to find out any more pertinent information about the mysterious statue. Number 2. A sick whale. The body of a humpback whale was found in the middle of the jungle in Brazil. How it got there is a bit of a mystery. It wasn't exactly in the heart of the Amazon or anything, but it was 50 feet, 15 meters inland from the ocean, found near the shores of the Amazon River. The humpback whale was only a juvenile, no more than 26 feet, 8 meters long. Adult humpback whales can grow over twice that size. For this reason, experts say the whale was probably about a year old when it died. As for how the young whale got stranded in the jungle, experts say it may have gotten sick and then lost. Humpback whales are completely foreign to this region, according to wildlife biologist Alex Zerbini. Alex believes the animal was probably a North Atlantic humpback, whales that breed in tropical waters in the Caribbean, normally off the coast of Venezuela. It's possible that after the whale got sick, it became disoriented. Once disoriented, enormous tidal waves of up to 23 feet, 7 meters, caused by the full moon, pulled the whale into the shore. The waves then tossed its body 50 feet, 15 meters from the water to where it was found rotting in the jungle. Number 1. City under the jungle. Archaeologists have uncovered yet another ancient settlement, a totally secret city built by the Incan Empire deep in the Peruvian jungle. Some experts believe the city could contain a lost treasure that has yet to be found. The city is located deep in the undergrowth of the jungle, about a 2-day hike from the city of Cusco. Archaeologists say the city's name is Choquequirao, a city so well hidden that it almost escaped the destruction brought by the Spanish when they began bulldozing the Incan Empire in the 1500s. But not quite. The Spanish actually tracked down the city after the last Incan was obliterated. Choquequirao was abandoned and forgotten until archaeologists just now discovered it once more. They've only excavated about 30% of the site so far, uncovering canals, ruins of buildings, and crumbling monuments. The archaeologists say the city has been so horribly enveloped by the jungle that trying to study it will take a long time. Still, there is the potential to find treasure. Since this was one of the last holdouts of the Incan Empire and in such an inhospitable region, the Spanish may not have plundered it completely. There could be treasures hiding underneath the broken stone and tree roots. What do you think is hiding in the Amazon jungle? Let us know your thoughts in the comments, and thanks for watching. Be sure to hit the subscribe button and come back again for another awesome video right here on American Eye.